You are listening to an all-new episode of the Model Experience podcast live from the Model House.
The Model Experience is the #1 resource for models. Real models, real stories, real resources.
Visit themodelexperience.net to learn more and be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Model Experience. Drum roll, please. It's the Model Experience podcast.
We back.
Can't get rid of us.
Who would want to? It's so fun.
Oh, I'm sure
This
we can name a few people.
podcast is full of information,
Real life stories,
facts only,
personal
Straight
anecdotes.
We at the Model Experience are the #1 resource for models.
That's right.
That's right, baby.
And we are with someone very, very special today who I have missed dearly.
Making me blush.
Miss Jasmine
Jazzy.
Covarrubias.
Yes.
Jazzy.
Jazz Cove is in the house.
Are you two related?
Disclaimer.
Yeah,
We're
let's talk
long
about
lost
that.
cousins, maybe.
There's a lot of Covarrubias.
For the record, Jasmine and I are not related.
We are not.
I feel like
Just
people maybe
spiritually.
think I show you favoritism because we have the last name that's
I
the
literally
same,
thought
and
that.
they think that we're related. So for the record,
We are not.
she's just
She's
a great
just
model.
that good. She's just that good.
She is. And you know what? I met Jazz, last year? It's been a year it's been about a year that I've known you. And the very first time we met, you did the Model Experience, and I ended up coaching you.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of took off from there.
Yeah.
You have done a lot. I literally haven't even seen you in almost a year.
So what you been up to, Jazz?
I have been working on a lot of stuff. Some stuff is very low key. I can't really talk about it. But
Okay,
other than that,
okay.
I have a lot of information
Okay.
to say.
So let's start with how you got your start.
My start, that was such a long time. I don't know where to start, but basically I can say that I started in the industry when I was 13.
Okay.
And then from there, it just kind of took off because I started at a studio for acting and modeling. And then from there, I
Okay.
went to a convention. My agent saw me there.
Okay.
And
What convention?
it was a modeling convention where basically people from the real industry, like they go and they talk to you. There's models, there's agents, they go and they talk to you of
Like the
how it really
IMAX?
is. Kind of like that. I don't know if you've heard of TMI as well. Like they have like a bunch of agents come and like talk to you and everything. So that's where I met my agents when I was 15, and then they signed me when I was 16, and it just kind of went from there. And I took modeling very serious after I graduated school, because school is very important.
Yes.
So I was
I
huge
love
on
that.
that. I was a big student athlete, and I didn't want to miss any classes, any school. So I just basically told them straight up that I didn't want to miss school.
Sure.
So that's why things haven't really been happening until I graduated.
Got
so
it.
they were like,
Got it.
traveling contract? I was like, yes, right when I graduated.
Let's talk about that. Where have you traveled to? Let's get into it, girl.
Okay. So my first travel was to India, and my second travel was to Thailand.
Oh my goodness. Tell us
Which
about
did
that.
you prefer?
Which do I prefer? Okay, this is a very difficult question because they're both so different, but they're
Okay.
both so amazing.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I can start with India. So India was so much fun, but it was so much work. It was so much work, and also I was I was a little bit skeptical about it, just a little bit, because I didn't know anything, of course. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anyone. I was traveling by myself
How
with people I've
scary.
never met before in my life, living with models I've never met before in my life.
In a model house, right?
Yeah, it was-
Okay, so wait. Let's talk about the model
Yeah,
house.
let's get to
What
that.
goes down in the model house?
Oh, that's personal information. I think it's a little too top secret. No, I'm just kidding. But
How many people live in a model house at a time typically?
well, the one that I lived in, it was four models on one floor because it was a full apartment structure. So
You're good.
So how many models live in the model house typically?
four.
Four
For
models.
me, it was four.
Did you have to share a room?
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah,
Guys,
I had one roommate.
girls.
No, it was all girls. Typically, they always keep it separate. So it's girls, and then in the next apartment, or at least on the level above that one, that's typically how it works. And men would be in the above apartment, or it would be just a completely separate houses.
So what were you doing in this model house?
Cooking,
Okay.
learning how to
but
cook.
What took you to India in the first place? Like, that is fascinating.
Because basically actually the agency in India, they were the ones that were looking for models.
Okay.
So they're the ones that found my agency.
Which is Envy, correct?
Which is Envy, yeah.
Shout out to Envy.
Yeah, shout out to Envy, shout out to Russell and Big D. But yeah, so they contacted them.
Who's Big D? Who's Big D? I want to know who this D is.
Usually it was me, but okay.
So the way a model house works is typically, as you know, there are a few models to each house, but you're basically, as they call, living for free, correct?
Yes.
But you have to pay that off through work, correct?
Yes.
It's like work study if you're in college,
Yes,
basically.
exactly. But it is risky because they say that your apartment is free, everything's free, your plane ticket is paid off. Essentially, it is.
But
That's only if you work.
Correct. If you
Only
don't book the
if you
work,
book.
you owe the money, correct?
Yes, exactly.
So this is not foreign to the industry, because if you look at like the music industry, same thing. If you're a big artist, you get in advance, and what people don't really know is you have to pay that back if you don't make it back. So that is the same kind of concept for the model house. An agency will send you out to another country, to another state, and basically you're there to work, right? Did you get to hang out much, or were you mostly working?
I'm very social, so I would hang out sometimes, but I would work so much. In India, I would work so much.
And what were you booking? What kind of work
I
were
was
you doing?
booking a lot of e-commerce. I was working for example, Amazon. I was working for some websites that were based in India.
Okay.
And I was also I was doing a lot of Indian garments, basically, because they actually thought I was Indian. I was like, no. But I mean, a good thing I kind of look a little bit Indian, because that's actually what got me the jobs.
Got you.
Right.
So that's what got me booked.
Very cool. And you walked a show there too, right?
I walked 3 fashion weeks in India.
Wow.
That's amazing.
It was, thank you. It was actually really surprising, and I was very, very lucky to have the agents that I did have in India, because they're the ones that actually set up the runway, or they partnered up with the company on the first runway show that I did. And literally, once I landed, the next day, it was Fashion Week.
Wow.
I landed, and they were like, okay, get ready. Fashion Week, you're booked.
It's the real deal.
What? Yeah, so it was awesome.
So fast forward, second model house.
Second model house. I lived by myself, my own floor, my own room.
Beautiful.
VIP
like that
model.
never happened.
I literally, that's what I was about to say.
Never happened.
But
How'd you look out like that?
I honestly didn't like it because I was by myself.
Yeah,
I was
in
by
Thailand,
myself.
right?
Yeah, in Thailand.
Okay, so you want that camaraderie.
Yeah, exactly. And also, it was just it made things more difficult because I lived with Russian models and Brazilian models. And I'd rather them be more around me than us, a little separated.
Sure.
Because their English already was as well, obviously, as as mine. So it was just a little difficult to communicate with them, which I wanted more because...
Sure. But you must have gained so much independence. I know we were off camera before, we were talking about you gaining independence through traveling by yourself. What lessons did you learn? I mean, obviously you were there for modeling and to work, but what lessons did you take in as a person?
Oh, so many. I grew so much from traveling. I can definitely say that I went overseas and I came back a completely different person by far. I learned so much. I learned how to take care of myself. Just things I thought I knew already, but in reality, I was like, wait a minute. Mom, how come you didn't teach me this?
Exactly.
How come you didn't tell me?
Isn't it interesting that you learned it from modeling? I think people think that it's such a vapid industry, like it's all about image, and without realizing the experiences that come along with it, and you can really gain so much. So I'm sure for like a young girl like you, that was life-changing.
A lot of life lessons
learned. And it's way more competitive as well. There's so many gorgeous models at every single casting. The models that you live with, they're all gorgeous. Everyone is beautiful. And there it's just kind of funny because here some people tell me, oh, you're pretty skinny, and I was like, you don't know the half of it, because overseas I was actually a little bit too big.
Isn't that
they
interesting?
wanted me smaller. I was like, what? I mean, I can try, but I mean, of course I'm gonna put the effort into it, but I was even just a little bit surprised.
Right.
But I mean, it's work. So I'm willing to work for it.
So what?
As long as you're healthy, though.
Yeah, as long as I'm healthy, of course.
Yeah.
So
of course.
looking good means feeling good, which means taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
So tell us about your day-to-day
huge.
and how you take care of yourself.
Well, lately I've been waking up really, really early in the morning to go work out. And then I usually have my first meal, I'd say maybe noon. And I love vegan food now. It's a new thing. I tried keto and it worked for me, but my friend's getting me into the vegan diet, which I also like. And of course, I eat super healthy, but I eat what I need to eat to stay fit and, you know, look good and not dead or... You know, I'm not trying to go anorexic or anything.
Yeah, you want to be healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
Exactly.
So after breakfast at noon, what's next?
I don't know. I eat what I eat. Honestly, I just
for
eat
your
what
day, as far as like your daily routine. So
my daily routine. Yeah, I wake up, you know, I work out, I shower, I take care of my skin, I do a face mask, and then I eat everything, and then I go run errands. I go take care of other things that I have to take care of besides modeling.
Got it.
So yeah.
Got it.
Now, what was your favorite job while you were abroad? Best thing you did.
That's a hard question. Okay. This was in India. They flew me to, I can't pronounce the name, but it starts with an A. I can't pronounce it. It's a little difficult to pronounce, but they flew me from New Delhi all the way to, I'd say like the bottom south side, I believe.
Did you fly
India.
private?
Excuse me?
Did you fly private?
Ashley would want to know that.
Did you?
No.
Private flight?
No, I didn't fly private.
I really want to know.
Let's get down to the real business.
They didn't fly me
So
private.
they flew you. Who was the client?
It was just a photographer that was really well known, and he wanted to work with me on a catalog shoot. So he flew me over there, and we worked the whole entire day. It was awesome. They were really cool people. I really liked it. The garments, the catalogs, like I just loved it. It's just basically the people who you work with. That's why. Like I could say that, oh yeah, I worked for this brand and they're cool, but it's really just the people that you work with. Sometimes it's the vibe that really makes the memory. You know that
You're right.
really sticks the job into, you know, you remembering it and really loving it.
Totally.
So what are you working on currently? Are you still working on your book? Are you working on getting a new agent? Like, what's the future for Jasmine Covarrubias?
Jazz Cobb.
The future. I'm really excited to talk about this because I literally got news this morning about some amazing stuff, and last night. I'm so excited. I'm so happy about it.
Speak on it, girl.
Okay, I will. Okay, so let's get started on the future. So
Let's get started.
Let's get started. Okay.
The build up. Let's hear it.
Okay, so basically, I can honestly say that my first time in Thailand wasn't as well as I wanted it to go because it's so much more competitive, and the agency that I was with, I wasn't exactly with the correct agency for my image and for just the type of jobs that I would typically kind of book.
What are they called?
It was just...
No. What's the agency called? Is it?
The agency that I was signed with in Thailand is Artist. Artist. Yeah, so I want to go back to Thailand, actually, because I know for a fact, or I believe that I
backtrack.
Can book.
What's the big news?
The big news is that a big agency in Thailand wants me to sign with them.
Got it.
Congratulations.
And it's thank you. I'm so happy about it because it's one of the biggest agencies. I know of models that work for them that just, they're so successful. And this agency is so well known and loved. So that's why I'm so
what
excited.
What agency?
Gym.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, Gym Model Management based in Bangkok.
That's
Very
amazing.
cool.
So would you move back full time, or how would that work?
Yes,
Wow.
I actually would.
And you want to do that?
Yes, I do. I'm really sad about it. It's a big sacrifice. You're alone. You're away from home, your family, where you're comfortable at. But I think it'll be worth it.
You know, my favorite quote to live by is by Neil Donald Walsh. It's life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And it's truly my life's philosophy. And I feel that every time I've made a big decision that has scared me, it's led to the most incredible opportunities and things. So I feel like this is going to be another step and milestone for you and life-changing. You're going to change
definitely,
again.
Definitely.
As a model, as a woman.
And it opens so many doors for you too, not only as just modeling or per se acting, since they're all, the entertainment industry, but traveling, it opens so many, like so much doors, so different, like a different variety.
Sure.
There's different people everywhere you go, different attitudes, just everything. Right. I love it.
So you did our program, right?
Yes.
Did you love it?
Yes.
Okay. Shout out to
you
the
can be
model
honest.
experience.
Nice.
What would you say to models who are going to be doing our program for the first time? Maybe they're a little nervous. They don't have any modeling experience.
Good question.
How
can they
That's a
prepare?
beautiful
Tips
question.
could you give them?
Oh my goodness. Stay confident. Stay true to yourself. Just be real. Be yourself. Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Just believe in yourself. And if I didn't believe in myself, I wouldn't be going to India. I wouldn't be going to Thailand. I wouldn't be going back and staying there for
that is actually, I think, a major key, believing in yourself.
Yeah.
I think even
that's where it starts.
at any level,
which is,
entrepreneur, model, photographer, whatever you're going to do, you better believe it to the core.
Especially as a model.
Now I'm going to bring up one of my favorite quotes from Miss Stephanie Germanotta, a.k.a. Lady Gaga.
No,
I love Lady Gaga.
I love Gaga.
She said, before I was a star, I looked, walked, thought of myself as a fucking star. Even when I was a nobody, I'd be walking the streets of New York, like treating myself like I was an A-lister, even though I wasn't shit. And I feel like, just having that thought process of I am an A-list celebrity. I am important. I can be successful. I can be rich, whatever. If you think that and act that, it will manifest in your life.
Yeah,
when
definitely.
I was like 15, maybe, no, I think I was actually more like 13. I wrote my mom a check for a substantial amount. And it was just I just had a chip on my shoulder, I feel, at that time. And I just wanted like so much better for myself. But I feel like that totally attests to visualization and believing in yourself, and like you can really, really take it there.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Like, especially as a model, because there's so many people in this industry that tear you down.
Yeah.
Your confidence level can go from 100 to 0.
Quick.
Just from
one audition.
From one audition,
absolutely.
from them looking at you differently, from them telling you you're not skinny enough, your skin isn't clear enough. It could be very difficult to take care of yourself no matter how hard you try. Sometimes it happens,
You
but
get a breakout.
Yeah, you get a breakout. It happens. Like today, I was like, really, out of all days, today I
too,
have
girl.
like, yeah, it's horrible, but it happens.
I wasn't saying that about you. I was just saying in general. we were like, we know.
Oh no, we can see it though.
So let's talk about some goals for you. 2019, it's a new year. What are you looking to get into?
Financially stable.
That's
Hey.
beautiful.
Love it.
Key.
Love it.
That's literally probably
beautiful.
one of the number one things on my list for 2019.
You got it, girl. You got it.
Same.
Book
you write
those
it down?
jobs. Book those jobs.
I actually, you see this book right here? I have everything written down in that book.
Amazing.
I write everything down, all my goals, my game plan.
Beautiful.
I write everything down.
So Jasmine had a question a little earlier for Rio when we were kind of just hanging out backstage, and I was wanting to revisit that question.
So Rio,
Yes, darling.
your experience with ANTM.
America's Next Top Model.
America's Next Top Model.
So if you don't know by now, Rio was on last season, Cycle 24. She made top 5, something of
I
that
am original
nature.
top 4, period.
And we want to know more. We want to know more about your experience and what it was really like. So no pressure.
Yeah, I definitely want to know more.
Okay,
For sure.
so I feel like I was forced to kind of watch myself on television, and I found that I had character flaws. It was the best learning experience for like, I get jealous of people. Why? I had to get to the root of that. So that was, what's the word? It inspired me to find out more about myself.
Okay.
It definitely
You
made
mean
me
like watching back?
watching back.
Got it. Okay, so when you're living in it, what was your model house experience like? Because
here
I
we
know
go.
you were not on your own floor.
No, I
But
actually
also, it's like the tension is heightened because there are cameras in your face.
there's cameras
competition.
everywhere. Yeah, everybody wants to be America's Next Top Model. That's the whole reason you're in the house. I never wanted to win, low-key, but we'll talk about that later. Exclusive. I'm dropping bombs this time. So, I it started with like 30 girls in the beginning, and we got down to 15 at the
30
house.
girls in one house?
30 girls in the
Okay.
hotels and stuff.
Okay.
That's what they don't really
Okay,
tell
okay,
you
okay.
about. But it began with 15 girls. And at first it was like, oh, oh, everybody wants to get to know each other. And quickly it started being like, get your fucking bread off this counter. Like, you're disgusting. I hate you. Like, there was just people who just did not blend and mesh. And the competition element just heightened the tensions. And I remember, I think that was the biggest moment of like anxiety I've ever had in my life. Like, I was anxiety ridden 24/7 filming, you know, with everything going on. But I did end up learning so much about who I am, what I want to be, my brand. I'll never forget talking to Gary Vee. Shout out Gary Vee. He really helped me rebrand myself on social media. You know, stepping out of ANTM, I was like, I don't even know what to do, you know? I was like traumatized. I didn't want to, when they gave us back our phones.
Wait, you didn't have your phone the whole time?
No, they take your phone. You don't really have outside communication with the world. You know,
So it is model jail.
Yes, it is glamorous model jail for sure. I talked to my boyfriend twice. I think I talked to my mom once. The last thing I remember before it was like no contact with the outside world really was the Ariana Grande concert thing. That was like the day that we left the hotel and we were going to the house and
What
stuff.
concert?
The shooting, the bomb or whatever.
The shooting.
And so, you know, from our point of view, the president's addressing this bomb situation or whatever. We're thinking the world is ending. And they're like, okay, ignore it. Like, it's time to go to the model house. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, is this a terrorist attack? Like, what's happening? It was just, overall, I would say I wouldn't do it again. But I'm so glad that I did. Like, one time was enough for me on that show.
I can attest to that.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
I get it. 100%.
And I would do reality TV again, but I definitely want to do it with a little more control.
Sure.
There's still people who ask, is Rio a bitch? People still ask, like, are you really like this? And da-da-da-da-da.
It depends who's asking.
Depends on my mood.
So tell us about being on set with Tyra. What's she like?
Tyra is absolutely stunning. More stunning in person than you could even imagine. Like, she's gorgeous in pictures. Stunning in person.
Is she good at directing?
Absolutely. I feel like one of her strong suits is directing and producing, and I think she just left America's Got Talent, so she could focus on that. She's a joy to work with. People either love her or hate her. That's what I've noticed too. Like, my cast members, they either like, oh my God, Tyra's the best, or they're like, that bitch. You know.
I feel like even if they say that, it's still love. But it's just they don't want to admit it, or like because she probably broke down or hit a sensitive side of that, per se, that model. I would say, I don't know. I would love Tyra.
I think she's a
way,
genius businesswoman.
She is.
Whether you love her or you hate her, you've got to respect that. She spoke when I was at Cosmo. We planned a big conference. She was one of our speakers, our keynote speakers. So I got to actually interact with her. And she is, when I tell you, when she left the stage, everyone was like writing down in their notebooks. And it wasn't even from like a model perspective. She was talking straight business, how to get money, how to keep your money, how to invest your money. So I feel like the fact that you got to spend so much time with her is invaluable.
You know, one of my favorite moments, I got to meet her son. I was like one of the first people who got to meet her son before he was exposed to the world.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And production was like, it's so weird. He looks exactly like you. Because there was, you know, I've always been told, you look like Tyra Banks. That was my celebrity lookalike. Yeah. So production started whispering to me. And they were like, she's got a son and he looks exactly like you. Like, it's so weird. And then she brought him to the house one day before he was released to the world. And he was so cute and sweet. And it was really creepy. He did look like he could be my brother or something.
So funny. That's so funny. So, yeah, shout out to Tyra. We love you.
We love you, Ty.
So, Jazz, who would you say is your favorite model?
Cara Delevingne.
And
if that's
really?
how you say her last name.
Yes.
Delevingne.
Yeah.
That's
I love
so,
her. She's my favorite.
Fabulous.
I look up to her so much.
Really?
Because of how
That's
she
an
carries
interesting
herself.
choice. Why is that?
Because of how she carries herself.
Okay.
I think her bio on Instagram actually says, let yourself be weird, embrace it.
Okay.
I think it says something like that. Be unique, embrace it. I believe that's what her bio says, and I've just always loved the way, like, how she carries herself, the things she posts,
She's
like how
dope.
real she is. She's funny. Like, I love her so much, especially as a model, because she just has this unique, like, face and like everything about her.
That like androgynous look, but she can still be super feminine and gorgeous. That's a really good choice. I feel like
I love
no
her.
one ever says Kara. I love that you said that.
I love
that.
her. It's her personality, really. It's her personality.
Yeah.
Not only is she gorgeous, but her personality just rocks.
For sure.
She's funny. She's really funny. That I do know.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Kendall. I love Kendall,
Yeah.
but Cara is definitely, it's just, I love her.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite model, Deandra?
My favorite model, Giselle. Because I feel like she's a jack of so many. I feel like when I think of supermodels, I think of Giselle Bündchen for 100%. She speaks different languages. She's, well traveled. She's done like over 1,000 covers. I think she is just absolutely genius. I love her afterlife as like a model, even though she's still doing it now. I can relate to her personal life. She's got a husband, she's got children, and to me she represents
you can relate to having a husband and
as far as I'm manifesting it absolutely. She's with an athlete. I can relate to that. Like I think she's fabulous.
Ooh, an athlete?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That we'll talk about it
Look at that a little more.
not on air.
Yeah, I guess our favorites are who we can relate to the best, I would say.
Or who we look up
or
to.
aspirational.
Yeah, like, of course I look up to Kendall Jenner a lot, but
for sure.
I can't relate to her as well as I can relate to Cara and like how she expresses herself as a person.
I love that. Okay, so biggest goal for 2019, you said financial stability. I think that's beautiful. Anything else you want to share before we go? Anything to plug before we wrap up?
Okay, I do have one other thing to say. You know how I did mention that a lot of doors open for you with traveling and modeling. Of course, you can't model forever.
Yes.
Unless
Says
you're
who?
huge. I mean, you can, but can you be financially stable?
Yeah, you gotta be realistic. Totally. So
of course, I'm trying to make that bank.
Yeah.
So
big bank.
I love modeling. Yeah, I love modeling. Of course, it's my full-time job right now. But I love side hustling. So you can meet a lot of amazing people in this industry that can introduce you to the business aspect of it, which is another thing that I'm working on it actually.
Okay, awesome.
I have something related with business in Asia, so that's why I'm also actually going back to Thailand.
Multifaceted businesswoman. That's what we like to hear. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. We loved hearing from one of our own. I feel like she's our little baby, and we've sent her out into the world with her wings.
She came back all grown.
I know, I'm like our little baby. But we loved having you. Thank you for participating.
Yeah, thank you guys
and
so much.
We wish you nothing but love, light, and luck in the future.
Same here. Actually, I'm glad that we're doing this and that Rio is actually here because she's the one that gave me my first pep talk about traveling.
Mama Ree.
I asked her when I first met her. I was like, "So how's traveling? How's the outside world?"
Right.
You know. And she's the one that talked about it. And honestly, without you really initiating how it is and you saying that you did it, like I would have been a little more scared.
Oh, I'm so glad that I could be there
for
you.
Probably wouldn't went through with it all the way.
Well, I feel like everything happens for a reason, so we were meant to have that talk because look what happened for you after.
Definitely, and you know what? Me doing not that well. My travel to Thailand is also an amazing thing because that makes me more determined.
I love
which is why I'm going back.
And here we go, girl. Well, shout out to Jazz, and we are done. And hey, Jazz, before we go, where can we find you on social media, Instagram, all of that?
My social media, actually, I have this exact same username for everything. Everything's Jazz Cove, JAZZ COVV, V as in Victor.
Amazing. You heard it here first. Jazz Cove. Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Next big thing. If you're a model looking for one-on-one coaching from someone who's worked with the best of the best in the industry, visit my Instagram at @officialriosummers to learn more about Top Model Tuesday.
If you're a new model looking to take your career and portfolio to the next level, visit themodelexperience.net.
Thank you for listening to the Model Experience Podcast, live from the Model House.
And that's a wrap.